I'm Adam Anschel for Pro Football Weekly with a look at our mock draft version 5.0, brought to you by Verizon Fios. I'm joined by our draft expert, Nolan Nawrocki. He puts together this mock draft. This one, though, is a little different. It's looking at each team by their need as opposed to necessarily what you are hearing or what you think they'll do. And it's different from your past one right at the top.
Yeah, it starts with Marcel Darius. I think Marty Herney is really torn about this decision. A lot of people want to know what he's going to do. I think he's going to take it up to the final week. And if he winds up going with need, I think it's going to be Marcel Darius.
Yeah, defensive tackle in need as well as quarterback like there are for a lot of teams here. Number 3, the Buffalo Bills also need a quarterback. You have them taking Cam Newton. That's the same as your other one. 5, another quarterback. Blaine Gabbert going to the Arizona Cardinals. Again, same as your previous mock, so it makes sense. Looking down at number 8, Nick Fairley, a fit in Tennessee. They need quarterback as well, but defensive tackle is more value there. Number 9, the Dallas Cowboys. They need an offensive tackle. They need a DB. Who do you have them taking?
Well, there's been a lot of concern about the knee injury that Tyron Smith had checked out at the medical recheck at the Combine. But he's a guy that could still fit into the top 10. Mark Colombo's on his last legs. Doug Free really struggled last year, could switch to the other side. So I think they got to find a way to keep Tony Romo healthy. And Tyron Smith's a guy that fits in Dallas. Washington
Redskins have the 10th pick. You have Julio Jones still on the board. That'd be a great selection for them. They certainly need a wide receiver. 12, another team that needs quarterback, the Minnesota Vikings. Jake Locker going there. I think he was all the way out of your mock last time, so certainly a good push for him. 14, Cameron Jordan going to the Rams. They need a wide receiver or a defensive lineman. 15, a really interesting pick. Yet another team that needs a quarterback, the Miami Dolphins. A surprise pick here.
Yeah, it would be 4 quarterbacks in the top 15. I think it's possible if you look at the needs. Ryan Mallett, I think, has a chance to slide out of the first because of the character concerns. But you look back at what they got in Dan Marino in 1983, he also slid all the way down to number 27 because of some issues about off-the-field concerns. So Mallett has a very strong arm, and they got a very strong offensive line there. I think he'd fit very well in Miami.
After that, 16 through 20, we see a run on linemen both sides of the ball. A couple of offensive linemen, a couple of defensive linemen. Aldon Smith going to San Diego. They certainly could use help, kind of outside linebacker. The Giants need an offensive lineman. They get Mike Pouncey. Ryan Kerrigan, a high motor guy, going to Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Certainly a lot of talent there, and they need it along the defensive line as well. 23, Nate Solder going to the Philadelphia Eagles. They need help at offensive tackle. It makes sense. He's been up and down the draft board. Now at 25, another team that needs a quarterback, the Seattle Seahawks. We've seen different guys in this spot. Jake Locker there a couple of times. You haven't taken Andy Dalton.
Yeah, Matt Hasselbeck remains unsigned there. I think he's a guy that struggled playing through a full season the last couple of years, and Dalton really fits what they like to do. He's got a quick trigger. He played in a West Coast offense at TCU, and I think he fits what Darrell Bevell is trying to establish there in Seattle.
Certainly, with the NFC West up for grabs, a quarterback there could really lift them up. 27, the Atlanta Falcons, the Adrian Claiborne along the defensive line for them. They also need a wide receiver, but that's a good fit. At 28, the New England Patriots would be their second pick of the draft. Who knows if they'll keep it or not? Probably not. But if they are taking someone and it is for need, Mark Ingram from Alabama.
Yeah, I think they'd like to fill this running back need. It's definitely an area where they can get better. A lot of concerns have been expressed about Ingram's knee. I think he's been cleared by a number of teams that I've talked to. So I think there's a chance he could fit into the back of the first round. There's a lot of depth in this running back class, so teams could find it, running backs in this second, third, fourth round, so there's a chance he could fall out, but if he's sitting there, this makes too much sense for Bill Belichick to ignore.
As we look at the rest of the draft, Akeem Ayers for the going to the Jets, they need help along their front seven, so that would make sense. Justin Houston to the Packers, he's been in there, I think, in all of the mock drafts, so that's certainly a good fit and a good pick there. One guy that's not here in the top 32, a bit of a surprise, it was number 1 overall at one point, Daquan Bowers.
Yeah, there's not a lot of need for a defensive end with a bad knee, so he's a guy that could easily fall out of the first because of the medical concerns.
Certainly a good pick maybe for someone in the second round, getting a guy of first-round caliber if that knee checks out. That's a look at Nolan's mock draft version 5.0. For the best draft coverage, be sure to follow us on Twitter or go to ProFootballWeekly.com.